Hello, it's me again, Mrs. Mills, your English instructor for American Literature. And this week we're going to focus on African American Lit through Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington. The chapters that I want you to read for Frederick Douglass are provided in links in the weekly folder. You are going to read 3 chapters. Hopefully you'll read more, but the requirement is 3 chapters from Frederick Douglass's novel, My Bondage and My Freedom, or The Narrative Life of Frederick Douglass. Those are provided by means of links, and you guys see that in the folder. You're only going to read chapters 1, 2, and 10, but again, just like I said, I encourage you to read more because Douglass is just inspirational and extraordinary. Once you read about his life, you will be inspired to read more, hopefully. So, when you read Douglass, just put yourself in his position back in the 1800s when slavery was the South's economic foundation by that point. And I usually tell students, hey, if you're having a bad day, think about Frederick Douglass and what he had to endure, and your day doesn't look as bad as his. So he wrote this as an inspiration and to bring awareness to the situation that was slavery in the South. So Douglass's piece, chapters 1, 2, and 10. And again, I encourage you to look at the PowerPoint in this week's folder and the videos and the additional websites. And there's a plethora of information about Douglass. And remember, you have to do a literary research paper. So if you like Mr. Douglass and his story, feel free to research about him and continue your knowledge and learning about this man. All right? So, Frederick Douglass. And also in the textbook, you're going to be looking at Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington. And that starts on page 442. But the Booker T. Washington section starts on page 439. So I encourage you to read his biography and compare it to Douglass's, because as you see in the weekly folder, you have another blog, and this blog has to do with comparison and contrast, similarities and differences. And I really, really want you to dig deep when you generate this blog, because I want you to avoid the obvious. I want you to think of themes and maybe a moral lesson and extraordinary things that connects the two and maybe disconnects the two. So when you do your blog, I want you to do some critical thinking and generate some new thoughts and ideas about these two men. All right, let me get my board here. Just a couple more notes on these two guys. As you read in the PowerPoints, the websites, and the videos, you're going to see that Douglass and Washington are very inspirational. They wouldn't be where they are today without the inspiration and the courage they endured to take on the difficulties facing them. They are exceptional. And of course, they promote equal rights for African Americans in the community after the Civil War, during the Reconstruction era, and current day. So look into Douglass and Washington being inspirational, exceptional, and of course they are they thrive on equal rights for everybody. All right. Also in this week's folder for Frederick Douglass, I provided some study questions, and those will be helpful for your blog and maybe your tests that you have to take. So go ahead and look at those. Read through Douglass. Read through Washington. And again, connect the two. What are some themes and some ideas that are similar and different between the two men? And that's about it. This is a short video. I hope you enjoyed Douglass and Washington. Look at all the fabulous things I put in this week's folder. And hopefully the two men, Douglass and Washington, will be an inspiration to you. Have a great day.